that, has paid hackers, as well as we understand some other members of our group, of the more evil side of Anonymous, to attempt to destroy your radio show.
Are these the sort of renter crowd that I go on about, the ones that join in any sort of a protest just because they want a fight, an argument or whatever, and they're not really what you're about?
Pretty much. I mean, some of the main pranksters, like Heretic or Drunk Jedi, have been assaulting various groups and such. Well, I mean, they claim to protest for Scientology, but many large members of Anonymous are, without word, evil. And I mean, have you heard of the epilepsy raid forums, which they were responsible for?
No, I haven't.
Here they attacked various forums that were frequented by epileptics. Unfortunately, this caused mass problems and indeed harmed some people. And unfortunately, we discovered yesterday that they had got in league with Pete Price in an attempt to take down another radio show.
I don't understand the Pete Price connection, though. I mean, I know he's a DJ and he's got posters all over Liverpool. That's all I know about him. But I don't understand why is his name coming into this one? He'd have a lot to lose if it got out that he was actually responsible. How do you know that he's actually responsible for this?
Well, unfortunately, some of the IRC channels aren't as secure as they'd want, and from what we understand, he has been visiting them in an attempt to take down other radio broadcasters. For what reason, we don't know, but there have been various suggestions on certain IRC topics where he has claimed to want to attack other radio presenters. You're not the first, unfortunately, and you'll probably not be the last that he attempts to attack.
Yeah. Well, we do know that there's a bit of rivalry between himself and James anyway, but it's rivalry. But I don't know that he'd actually go to such lengths, especially a name like his. I mean, nobody's heard of him unless they're in Liverpool anyway. I mean, I have. But I don't really understand why he'd want to do this and put his name to something which can cause him ruin. Is it somebody else who's actually using his name?
I don't think he wanted to put his name to this, to be quite frank. It's just that some members, some of us who feel that Anonymous is going in the wrong direction, and should become more like Amnesty International rather than the searing great monster other members wish it to become.
So
feel that he should be named and shamed for attempting to drag our name down.
But people are trying to actually help the cause. Not necessarily Anonymous's cause. I'm more interested, to be honest, in the cause of people like Tony and Sue in getting Becky back. That's what I'm more interested in. But people are trying to do that. Perhaps because we are not anonymous ourselves, maybe they're against us. They want the credit for it. Am I wrong in that?
Well, I do know certain members of Anonymous, the protest group, like to proclaim that they were the first to do this, but then again, these are the same people who visit various nefarious websites. Anonymous is not immune to personalities.
So the question to you, though, is how come you was in our chat room last night? What did you see? What did you see that dragged you there? What did you sort of like? What made you come to our site, really?
Well, I was just...
I'm glad you did. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad you did, but I was just wondering what attracted you there. Did you see the poster that's flying around?
Actually I did, but I unfortunately can't reveal where from.
It's okay.
I saw the post and I just wondered what was going on, and I spoke to a few of the other members and discovered, well, really what was actually happening. It angers me slightly that it wasn't an actual Anonymous who attempted to start this raid as well.
Okay. But this poster is still around, and it's still on Photo Bucket, and people are still picking up on it. So I understand that you understand that it's absolute nonsense, but it's still there and it's still open for these attacks, and it's all been named in American time scales. So it's based on central, is it Western time, West Coast time, East Coast time, and Mountain time or something.
That's right.
So it's obviously some Americans have actually tuned into this now, aren't they, and still going ahead.
Yeah. Oh, but still. So I don't know. I just don't understand why we're all after the same thing, and yet it seems to me that whoever it is wants the credit for it, as anonymous as they may remain, and I don't know, as if they're trying to put a stop to some good work, to getting people to know what's going on out there. We're trying to spread the word ourselves about how bad Scientology is, and yet the people who are apparently against Scientology are becoming against us as well. Makes no sense.
Hello, still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I really can't say much. I mean,
I'm glad you came on anyway. I'm glad you came on.
I am.
I really am. I'm glad, because it makes us realise that there are some people in Anonymous. I mean, I've got to say, it to me is Anonymous is one organisation, no matter how many little bits they've got, and I still don't understand why they want to still go under the same name. They still want to be known as Anonymous, and yet they still want to keep these bad ones on board.
Well, bullies.
The bullies on board, yeah. It is bullying tactics, and it's not a very good advert for Anonymous themselves. It's just confusing.
well, unfortunately, this is the case. I mean, most members of Anonymous, I mean, the way the whole even attacks on Scientology began was simply a bullying tactic.
Yeah.
There was no great idea of morality or anything like that. There still isn't, to be quite honest. We only initially attacked Scientology because it would have been funny, and they were a target who would give us a reaction.
Yeah, that's right. But it just seems now that others are getting roped in, not just us, but others are getting roped in as well, and we're becoming part of the fallout. And as much as we want to carry on, as much as we can, helping by giving notification of what's going on, it's disheartening. And I'm wondering if whoever has caused all this feels that they're winning now, because they're losing my support, and I'd rather not. They're a good organisation, I believe, but I would rather just ignore them completely and have nothing more to do with it whatsoever until somebody can assure us that Anonymous is good, bad, or whatever. But at the minute, we're getting the bad side of it. We're getting the lovely people on, like yourself, like Tony, like Glebe, like the man in Scotland. But then we're getting the other element which are coming on here, and we can't tell one from the other because everybody's anonymous.
Well, I would say, to be honest, the vast majority of Anonymous are quite evil. I mean, we have various factions, and unfortunately, I have to say, if you can't understand us, I would leave.
I'm not with you. I'm not with them to leave. I would never join any organisation, but I would.
But I wouldn't. To be quite frank, I would say this to all your listeners. You see us on the street, you see us to try and talk to us. I won't even go near protesters anymore after some of the things I've heard them say.
I know what you mean.
Some of them are quite sick and offensive, and the number of times they've made various rape jokes, child molesting jokes out in public, I couldn't stand to be around those people anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Good for you.
Well, thank you so much. I really mean that. Thank you for ringing in. And thanks for coming. Last night as well, we actually spoke on the phone, didn't we?
Yeah.
Thank you for that as well.
Okay.
Okay, you take care.
Look after yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, there we go. Confusing as ever.
That's confused me even more, that has. But even being told by a member of Anonymous that it's not worth being part of it.
I know. It's strange, and this keeps recurring. This peak price thing.
Yeah. I'm a bit worried about that. I mean, is it? I mean, I don't think anybody would be amateurish enough to do that and to put his name to it.
Stranger things happen, Tony.
I've got a feeling that he would remain anonymous. It could be, yeah. Maybe fading ratings on certain stations who've got to live up a pole in the middle of Liverpool.
So, if somebody has been taken over by the devil, like some members of this Anonymous have,
right,
what would you do with them?
Well, you'd exercise them.
You would?